Welcome viewers to H1 TV. Today, Ministry of Gender, Children and Social Protection in collaboration with Department of Children presents Day of the African Child with the theme Eliminating Harmful Practice Affecting Children Progress on Policy and Practices since 2013. Stay tuned as I bring to you more exclusive information concerning this program.
According to the head of programs for Afrikids organization, Dr. Richard Amwa said that there's need to collectively reach out to the children that have been circled out of the society in order to have a national conversation in tackling the challenges faced by these children and also have an actionable activities to get rid of the abused as a country.
If you look at the intervention that we have done on the spiritual phenomenon, we are looking forward to the achievement that we have done. This is going forward. What can we do to give it that national character? What can we do to have national stakeholders take up this conversation? We are doing this within the Upper East region and part of Northern Northeast region. But I can tell you that in most places in Ghana, we have this issue of a perceived spiritual phenomenon existing. So we think that as an organization, if at the national level, we pick it up as a policy conversation and we come up with a policy backed by some actionable activities, we'll see how we'll be able to reach out to children who, as a result of some of these deformities, have been cycled out of society. I tell you, there are a number of children who, as a result of these deformities, have been made not to go out. Their families, their parents have literally closed them in the rooms. But the child is bound to come out, join his or her peers, live his or her life. So what Afrikids is calling from this day going forward is how to have a national conversation, inuring into a policy formulation as to how the perceived spiritual phenomenon is affecting many children. They can have a clear policy and actionable activities to salvage children going through this form of abuse. We are right now governmental organization, and that is our name. We exist for the purpose of the development and thriving of the child. Our main areas of work or our team of work is education. So we are ensuring that every child who is supposed to be in school is afforded the opportunity, the support to be in school to the level to which that child wants to get to. Child protection. If a child is abused or don't feel safe in his or her environment, then it even becomes difficult for a child to go on with his or her education. So we see that it is very important to protect children from being abused. They need to enjoy their rights as enshrined in all the international and local protocols that as a country we are signatory to. Then also health. You bear with me that if you are not healthy, there is nothing that you can actually do. So these are the core thematic areas that as an organization we are working to provide that holistic support for children. And we are focusing on children because the future of our nation rests on empowered children. Our focus is the child, but we always try to operationalize the definition of children. So Afrikids, per the nature of our work, we look at children who falls between the ages of 0 to 21 years. 0 to 21 years because from statistics, we have children around 20-21 years who per our constitution are supposed to be adults. But if you have somebody around that age and is still dependent on parents, still dependent on society, the person is not able to provide for himself or herself, then we will put you in the bracket of what? A child, because you need to be supported to live your life productively. Then secondly, you ask the question, why Northern Ghana? Yes, Northern Ghana because that is where the organization was conceived. The founders of the organization found themselves in the Northern region. And I bet you also Northern region is a place that developmentally is quite deprived. All of us cannot be in Accra, all of us cannot be in Kumasi because for some reason, these places even have some opportunities other than those who find ourselves in the northern part of Ghana. So we think starting from there, we can all spread our efforts so that children or communities also within the northern part of the country are also provided some opportunities. Of course, we are based in the northern region, but we also have interventions, and we are ready to work with government and other stakeholders if there's a need for that to even come to Accra to address issues. Currently, as I speak, we are about to launch our new strategy to work between now and 2025. As you read from the UNICEF country representative, around the 1980s, we were having child marriage moving out over 40%. But together with other civil society organizations, we have all contributed. We have now reduced the numbers to around 17-19%, around 2018-2019. So that is a lot of work have gone into it. But like I said, it's not something that we can deceive ourselves that we can just eradicate it one day off. But we as an organization have engaged in community sensitization, and engaging with parents, engaging with the girls or children themselves to see the need to support them. Some parents give their children off marriage at that early stage, and don't blame them. It is a belief system. Some do it as a measure to offload the economic pressure on them. But that's why we working in the communities. We are empowering parents with what we call the Family Life Improvement Support Program, where we give some microfinance to mothers especially. So mothers who are engaged in this intervention have some economic activities to do based on the support we give them. So once they make the income, they are able to support their children, to provide them the basic needs. And the child is such that when the child gets the basic needs from home, no one can deceive her, especially the girls. So when the girl cannot be deceived, she will not be lured by a boy or a man outside or find himself in a teenage pregnancy, for that matter, early marriage. So Afrikids, what we have been doing and continue to do to engage parents, engage communities, support them economically to provide for the needs of their children. The girls themselves too, we empower them to be assertive. Your sexuality is not to have sex. No one should deceive you that if you're a girl around 16, 18, 19 years and you don't have sex, you become foolish as they've been deceived. You need to pursue your education first, pursue your career first, and as you get to that point that you are independent, you will even select the men when they come to you.
BC exams. A certain man came to my house, and my mother was not around. She went to a funeral house. So when this man came, they took me out of my house, and I was screaming. Then they used a rope to tie my mouth and send me to their house. When they send me to their house, they have a sexual intercourse with me. The next day, Africans and my colleagues came out to support me. They took me out of that house and sent me to the hospital. When they sent me to the hospital, they also said that it was a rape, and they now went and arrested the guy and jailed him. As I'm standing now, I was able to go to the school, went to school. I completed HHS now, and I'm working with Agama. Due to that issue, I couldn't be able to write my papers well, and I'm planning to write them again and further my education.
Also speaking at the event was the Chief Director for Ministry of Gender and Children's Social Protection, Dr. Afisah Zakariah, said that she's amazed with the Afrikid presentation as a team that they are ready to collectively tackle the challenges faced by the children in the society by putting strategies in place.
So we are doing Afrikid at the community level. They've shown their presentation, and in fact I was moved with the great work they are doing at the community level. We all growing up, there were this sort of misrepresentation about people with disability. So if you are born with a disability, you are seen as unfit today in the society. I mean, some parts of the country, not everywhere. Other parts of the country, they don't have issues. You see, they are here with us. And this celebration, we are here as a team. And when I read the minister's speech, I even concluded by saying that we need everybody on board. Because if everybody folds their hands and sit down, expecting just the gender ministry to we cannot be everywhere. Because we need teamwork to be able to address some of these things. We support them. Our development partners also come on board, and then we direct them where some of these areas they can support, because we are all addressing the same issue. We want children to be safe. We don't want children to be harmed. So if we identify that an NGO, you are working towards our cause, we bring you on board and then we partner.
On what results has been achieved in terms of policy, in terms of programming, and the way forward for children who are facing harmful cultural practices. So we are taking stock from 2013, where the same theme was asked to be celebrated by the AU, by all the African states. And in 2013, our focus was on harmful practices, especially against children with disability. So we did it with Afrikids in Srigu in the East region, and today they also came to give us an update of what they've been able to achieve so far with all the partners they work with. So you can see that we are doing work, but you see that there's been an expansion of health services to the area. There's been an expansion of screening services to help support the children who are born with deformity and how they are even perceived by their families. And we are calling on everybody, every stakeholder, that we all need to have a little role to play. That if you're planning for children, ensure that their issues are reflected in everything you are doing as a country. Don't leave anyone out. Every policy you are doing has an implication on a child. Ensure that the child's interest is there. You protect children at all times and ensure that their well-being is paramount in everything that we are doing as a country. We wanted to bring to the attention of the general public the various policies and guidelines that the government has developed. So we mentioned that we have revised our Criminal Code Amendment Act to criminalize the FGM, tighten the punishment. We mentioned that we have a strategy in place for ending human trafficking, child marriage, among others. But for me, the achievement today has been what our children have listened to us that we've done, and what they've learned from the various partners, and to bring forth the knowledge that children who hitherto were seen as being born with deformity, having been assisted, we all have seen the pictures of what they can do, and to me, is a huge achievement that we need to celebrate as a country, that if you make room for these children, they will develop to be very responsible people that will contribute their best for the country.
That brings us to the end of today's program, and as you've heard from most speakers and ministries as well, trying to embark on eliminating harmful practices that is affecting our generation or youth today, especially children under the age of 18, and early child marriage in rural areas. Thank you for watching H1 TV. My name is Richard Bodo, reporting.